Hello, I'm Ondeke from Nairobi, and we welcome our viewers from Kenya and around the world. This is Newslink, a program that takes a global and exclusive look at issues affecting public attitudes in business, politics, sports, arts, and culture. But first, here are the stories making headlines. Russian journalist fools world media by staging his murder in an elaborate scheme with Ukraine. Arkady Bashenko, the Russian journalist whose murder was dramatically announced by Ukraine, emerged very much alive and said he had faked his own death in order to thwart a plot by Moscow to kill him. And elsewhere, Ugandan parliament approved a law that imposes new taxes on social media services and mobile money transactions. Critics of the Excess Duty Amendment Bill 2018 had argued that taxing social media would amount to restriction of freedom of expression on the internet, while taxing mobile money transaction will hurt low-income earners. And elsewhere, Amazon has added a new delivery location to the ever-growing number of its business, as right now they can leave you packages inside your car. And somewhere also in Kenya, a student develops a solar-powered car, and we'll be telling you more on how Kenyan university students have turned to entrepreneurship to fight the odds of unemployment. Thank you for choosing Newslink. Now, Amazon has added a new delivery location to the ever-growing number of sports, as it can now leave your package inside your car. The company announced an expansion of its Amazon in key home delivery services, which lets Prime members get deposit in their cars at no extra cost. The global carrier and delivery services industry has experienced moderate growth over the last 5 years to 2017. In Kenya alone, about 7.5 million enterprises contribute approximately 45% to the Kenyan GDP, a number that is likely to drop if high-impact entrepreneurs model is not embraced. Remember, you can join the conversation on social media platforms at I am the Ondeke on Twitter, at I am the Ondeke on Facebook, and the text line is 21411. Now, I see somebody on social media saying the government should work hand in hand with private sector to create jobs for the youth. I think I agree with that, and keep the conversation going. Remember, you can text me on 21411. And now, report states that 51% of Kenyans prefer paying for goods on delivery, with the reports further indicating that Kenya needs to create at least 3.9 million jobs for young people by 2020. In this episode, Newslink take a look on how youths in Kenya use entrepreneurship as an alternative to fight unemployment. Do take a look.
Kenya recorded 39.1% unemployment rate, according to a recent report by the United Nations Human Development Index (HDI) in 2017. However, Kenya's ratio of youth aged 15 to 24 to the population stands at 20.3%, above the world's average of 15.8% and 19.2% for Africa. The millennials add up to 10.1 million out of Kenya's population of 49.7 million. A data from US-based Population Reference Bureau (PRB) shows that the youth bulge could, however, breed runaway crime and other social evils in absence of enough employment opportunities. The 15 to 24 age bracket, known as millennials, largely comprises of high schoolers, school dropouts, college goers, and fresh graduates. A World Bank report released last year shows that Kenya leads the region in youth unemployment at 17.3% compared to only 6% for neighboring Uganda and Tanzania each. Moreover, in fighting the odds, some Kenyan youth have resorted to self-employment or entrepreneurship to curb unemployment even as they are still in campus.
What we do is that we have 3 different services we offer. We have basic delivery services whereby we get to move packages, parcels and luggages from one place to another all over Nairobi County. We also do surprise deliveries, birthday surprises, lovers packages, parents appreciations.
We run this business bikes, where we actually rent out bikes to students who probably are adventurers at heart and lovebirds. Just people who probably would probably consider things like exercise and maybe let's say learning how to ride better.
Being a small income business, there are benefits that come along.
Benefited a lot from it because it has one benefit from it, of course, is income. At least it has given me something to fall back to.
All day, every day. Well, this is because they're really timely. I have never been failed, not once, by these people. And they deliver what I actually requested for. And I do not have to pay before I can actually see my good.
Oh, well, I've learned a lot. I mean, all that you actually can take from a venture is actually lessons upon lessons. So we have learned a lot. It's not just the money, because if it were the money, you would have had better things to do with money. But I feel there's so much that I've actually drawn from this experience, interacting with different walks of people, dealing with challenges and all that stuff.
Management between school and keeping records are just but a few challenges that come with self-employment.
One of the main challenges is for us, for instance, I am still a student and we have to kind of also deal with business. So it's so challenging balancing between studies and also business. And also we've got some of the people we are starting and we are dealing with mainly small goods packages, but some of the calls that we are calling are some big deliveries.
Kenya's unemployment crisis has been blamed on sluggish growth for formal sector jobs, even as the country continues to produce thousands of university graduates every year. For Newslink, I am Angela Monzia.
This is Newslink on Reds TV, and I am Josh Ondeke. Remember, you can join the conversation on social media platforms at I am the Ondeke on Twitter and at I am the Ondeke on Facebook, and the text line is 21411. And now I'm joined by Newslink correspondent Angela Manzia from Nairobi, Kenya. Angela, what's the latest from the ground as you interacted with young entrepreneurs?
Well, Joshua, as you can see, business is as usual, and the youth seem to be very optimistic when it comes to their businesses.
And Angela, from your own observation, what are some of the challenges these students who do business while in campus face?
Well, Joshua, the main challenge these young entrepreneurs seem to face is juggling in between schoolwork and businesses in terms of management. And the other major challenge they face is finances, especially when it comes to bicycles like this, which need repair and maintenance.
Angela Monzia, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome.
Remember to join the conversation. Our text line is 21411, and on Twitter at I am the Ondeke, and Facebook at I am the Ondeke. And someone by the name Mr. Kibos says, free advice to students: make use of time in the university. You can't copy assignments and use Mwakenya rather and expect that corner office. Interesting scenario there. And continue with the discussion on social media. And as I promised you earlier, now I'm joined by Martha Inyuma, student and business lady. Martha, and if we may just start with Martha, is entrepreneurship the answer to unemployment in Kenya?
I would say entrepreneurship is the answer, but it's not the 100% answer to solving unemployment in Kenya. Because first, people who delegate themselves into entrepreneurship more often use the other people's experience kind of tag to ensure that whatever they do because someone else did it might work. So that does not necessarily mean that whatever project you're carrying out will work for you simply because it worked for other people. So as much as entrepreneurship looks like a goal or the solution to all this unemployment, it's not 100% the goal.
Alright, Martha, some people say that tribalism or favorism, or if you may like nepotism, have been the cause of unemployment in Kenya. Do you share the same sentiments?
Yes, that one I would share the same sentiment, because when you're looking at, for example, just to start with people who are entrepreneurs, just to start with that, you might find that you have a great idea, you have the great capacity or ability to carry out the idea, you have the capital, but if you're in a community where it's not your tribe, like for example you're here in Ukambani and you're not a Kamba, it might not be successful because people around you want to help those who are theirs. Someone who is a Kamba to prosper in Ukambani, yeah. But also when we're looking at people who have greater companies, people who have greater jobs, who can help even the youth, they tend to look for people who are their own, just to help their tribe to grow up. So tribalism is a factor when it comes to unemployment.
Martha Enyuma, always a pleasure to have you on Newslink.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
And from the other side of the studio, I'm now joined by Richard Osano, analyst and economist. Richard, welcome to the program. And Mr. Richard, let's just kick it off. Latest survey reveal unemployment crisis facing the country with 7 million Kenyans are unemployed. Where does the problem lie, Mr. Richard?
I think the problem is partly attributed to the government, the educational programs that are offered in universities and academic institutions. They don't train us to create jobs for ourselves, rather they prepare us for the job that is already available. And the problem is also attributed to us because we intend not to create jobs, but rather we rely on the jobs that are already available in the market.
And the survey further outlines that 1.4 million have been desperately looking for work. The rest have given up on job hunting, with some opting to go back for further studies. Does further studies an assurance of job opportunity?
Meriting further studies does not guarantee employment. I think further studies is only an act of enriching your academic portfolio, that's all. Yeah.
And Mr. Richard, the survey also points a grim picture of growing youth unemployment, with a huge chunk of population aged between 20 and 24 years not engaged in any work or business. Your advice to the seated down at home waiting to be employed?
I would advise that we as the youths take up the mantle. We have the ability, we have the creativity to innovate jobs so that we can be able even to employ other people rather than depending on the government to provide jobs for us.
Richard, thank you very much for taking your time and coming on Newslink.
Thanks for having me.
This is Newslink on Real TV, and remember our text line is 21411, and you can join the conversation on our social media platforms at I am the Ondeke on Twitter and at I am the Ondeke on Facebook. And right now, Collins Olang now joins me on Newslink. Collins, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Do you think youth venturing into entrepreneurship is a solution to unemployment in Kenya?
Actually, it is part of the solution. You see, currently our youth, most of them are either struggling because they have not received the necessary employment, rather education towards employment, or also there's just a bit about where they come from. Somehow we find that African youth are strained because of their backgrounds. So to some extent, I would not entirely say it is the best response to unemployment, but it is part of the best response towards the current solution that is affecting our youth in the country.
And Mr. Collins, what are some of the challenges that come with being in business while lacking basic knowledge on entrepreneurship?
So yes, you can have passion, but without the knowledge, you will be venturing in that direction. So one of the challenges that is facing our youth today is that they're struggling to understand the market. Sometimes what they want to offer and what is already happening in the market eludes them simply because they do not know how to understand it. They don't have the means, they've not been equipped, hence they struggle. Though in time they get there. See, as the saying goes, an oppressed mind is a creative mind. So you find that even our youth today, knowing that they need to make ends meet and they need to feed maybe a few months back at home, they will make through. So that is just but one of the challenges, although they are mainly facing the youth currently.
Collins Olango, thank you for your time on Newslink.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for having me.
Newslink continues on Reds TV, and remember you can join the conversation on our social media platforms at I am the Ondeke on Twitter and at I am the Ondeke on Facebook. The text line is 21411. And on social media now, I see Emily Nokong saying employers are looking for an experienced graduate. Most of these jobs are tagged along with 5 years experience. You know what that means. And of course, this is Newslink on Reds TV. Keep the conversation going. Given that the high institutions of learning are key producers of this surplus labor, they should also engage solving the problem. And we should start rating the performance of the very institutions by employment opportunities their graduates create, and not only by the number of undergraduates and postgraduates have they produced? The universities have always argued that their role is to produce knowledge, but it is time they take on job creation initiative. Thank you for joining us on Newslink. Remember to catch us next time, same place, same time. I am Ondeke. Goodbye for now.